Welcome to the Spa Business Mastery Podcast. My name is Delia Taylor, and today is a very special day for me because I have Kirsten Foss here with me. And what we're talking about today on today's podcast is something that, has come up a lot for a lot of spa owners that we work with. And it's where our podcast is why your spa e-commerce store is falling behind competitors and how you can catch up. So here's the scenario. You've built a e-commerce platform on your website, but there have been zero sales ever since it went live. And you're probably thinking, what the heck? You thought that everybody was going to be shopping online, and now you're wondering where everybody is. And so we wanted to put this podcast together because we know that e-commerce is a huge part of the spa industry's business. And we want to help you to reveal why your e-commerce is crickets. And the one thing that we've noticed with our spa owner clients when they come to us for e-commerce support is that the biggest piece is they really don't truly understand that selling online actually requires a whole different set of sales and strategies and digital tools.
Sure does.
Sure does.
And it's kind of one of those things where, spa owners just make the assumption that if I build an e-commerce site, they will come.
Right.
And my regular clients will just buy online, and new clients will find me and they will buy my products. And they're so frustrated and disappointed when they put all that work together. And like you said, it's still crickets. And it ends up becoming kind of like what a lot of spa websites are doing, and becoming these kind of static online brochures rather than sales tools.
Yeah.
So here's what you, dear spa owner, may not have realized about e-commerce. There's two pieces to this. The first thing is that e-commerce is its own revenue stream. It's like having another business in your business, and it needs to be looked at and treated like its own business, including like its own marketing strategy. It needs its own tech tools that you wouldn't need in spa or in clinic, and those tech tools are always evolving. You need ongoing nurturing for e-commerce sales. That is separate from your in-spa business. So you may not have realized that, and that even just that information, that e-commerce is a very separate beast, different beast than your spa business. Even just knowing that might help you kind of give yourself a little bit of grace and say, oh, okay, maybe this is why things are not working. I didn't understand that piece.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of one of those things where you putting together your e-commerce site, you might have thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to make, my spa business so much easier. Things are going to be automated. People can order. I can just like pack it up, ship it off. But now that you've had your e-commerce up for a bit and nothing's happening, you thought it was going to be earning easier for you, but it is absolutely not.
And
So
maybe it's like doing things that are actually making things a lot more difficult for you in the long run, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
So Delia and I compiled a little list of e-commerce best practices that we'd like you to grab a pen and paper and write these down, because it will act like a little checklist for you to help kind of do this initial assessment to see, okay, what could actually be missing from my e-commerce website. So the first thing, and this is a bit of a I don't know, a kind of a big topic within e-commerce, and that is the consumer experience or the consumer journey through e-commerce. And the biggest piece about that is knowing how to reduce friction for consumers to buy. And this is hard for spa owners because they're not, website marketing strategists. And so you wouldn't necessarily know how to identify where the friction is. So for example, we have a client, and when we first met her, her website, when you go into the nav bar, when you get to services, it was very confusing. Like every service had its own page. And as a new consumer, that's a lot of friction because I don't know where to go. The body stuff was put together with like skin, like it was just very confusing. So that's an example of like friction for consumer. And if your e-commerce has that same kind of friction in terms of the consumer doesn't really know where to go, how to pick,
Mhm.
you're not making it easy for them, they'll just click off and go.
Yeah.
The other piece that we want you to know is, of course, you're going to have a separate payment processor than your in-spa payment processor. So now you have two payment processors that you need to balance, okay? Not just one.
Mhm.
Right? Do you
And
want to take over the
yeah,
rest?
sure. I was going to say one of the biggest pieces too that we hear is it's going to be a separate inventory management. So if you're already struggling with in-spa inventory management, you have to be able to understand and know how to utilize a online inventory management. And that can be super expensive because there are often plugins that you have to put in so that it connects to your in-spa CRM so that you're not selling online and your inventory is off on your booking site. So those plugins can be super expensive. They can be glitchy. We've had it where we're trying to connect a CRM to a online shop, and they just don't communicate with each other. So
And even us knowing how to do a lot of this back end techie stuff.
yeah,
I know that you were on tech support with both like the CRM and the I think it was Shopify.
your
And
Shopify
they were
and Timely, yeah.
yeah, they were both pointing fingers at each other. It's
They were
Timely's problem, it's Shopify's problem, and we're kind of stuck, right?
kind of stuck, and we're stuck in their at their kind of we're stuck with what they can give us. So just consider that you will likely have a separate inventory management system that you're going to have to be able to come up with and manage. You're going to have to understand the tech behind it and be able to keep an eye on it. One of the other things that you might not have thought about is an online chat feature. So that would be something where, you've probably seen chat features on other websites where consumer can get a quick answer. Those are really great tools because clients, when they're on your site, they want an answer right away. They don't want to have to wait for somebody to get back to them. So if you have a chat feature, then you can give quick answers. You can help guide that, purchasing decision a little bit easier, and give them a little bit of confidence in their purchases. Another part is print material. So when you have your social media posts, right? So we want to make sure that your print material with products have a call to action for posting on social media. Now, for that print material, I just lost my thought there.
That's okay. I'll pick it up. So
Thank
print
you.
material is this is why Delia and I work together, work well together.
She knows what I'm going to
We're
say.
kind of that age where sometimes, things just go out of our mind and we
I've
can,
got too many thoughts in my
yeah.
head.
So with print material, what we're referring to is when you ship your products that you have, like a lot of times companies will create almost like a postcard size of print material that has, thank you for your purchase, welcome to blah, 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 maybe some initial directions, but then there's a very clear call to action to love your products, take a pic and post it on social and tag us. And that is what also helps you for a spa brand to kind of break into other areas of social media, because then you're the person who is posting, their friends are going to see it, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Whereas their friends may not have seen kind of your general social media posts. So having that print material for the specific call to action to post on social media is really helpful to kind of have that systematized, right? For kind of reviews and social proof. The other print material is you likely want to have like almost like a little skincare prescription if you're selling skincare, so that they have something they can put in their bathroom and refer to really easily when they're just first getting started with their skincare routine.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Kirsten. That
You're
was
welcome.
all right. And then one of the other things you want to consider is mobile optimization. Now, most websites are mobile optimized. And what we mean by that is that, it can convert properly into an iPhone or an Android, so that things aren't cut off and images aren't wonky. You want to make sure that the desktop is going to be optimized so that I think what do we see today? we were looking at one of our analytics, and it was all Apple users. 86%
Yeah,
was.
we were looking at the podcast
Oh,
analytics,
we were looking at our
and
podcast analytics.
80% of the listeners use an Apple phone.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah, so you want to make sure that when they're looking at their phone, that they can be able to navigate through. Again,
I would say
search bar.
most websites
Star.
are mobile optimized, but you just definitely want to check
Double
the
check.
optimization because some are a little clunky.
I've worked with a few that can be a little clunky, and they actually need their own separate design for mobile, which, who's got time for that? So,
Which
um,
do you remember which site platform that was on?
that was, I want to say Flowdesk.
Okay, yeah, that makes
I
sense.
could be wrong, but that's which one it was. All right. So also with one thing that you want to consider is SEO. So SEO is super, super important, not only for online consumers to be able to understand, like you want to make sure that what you're writing is SEO optimized so that Google can pick that up and expand your ranking on the search results, right? So those are adding.
Yeah, and you want, because what's that's doing with your e-commerce is it's helping your e-commerce pages rank on Google,
Rank
not
higher.
just
Yeah.
your general website. It's the
Yeah.
e-commerce pages to get ranking.
So you want to make sure that you've got specific keywords in there. You'll need to do some keyword research, make sure that there's specific keywords in there that are going to be optimized. And also so that, you've got enough info on that page that Google can pick it up, because there is a guideline of how many words should be on there. But you also want to make sure that your consumers understand what the, products are that you're talking about. And then what else have we got? We've got low quality images. So we see a lot of low quality images, and these can be, non-pro, like you can still take great pics with your iPhone, right? But a lot of times we see pictures that are blurry. They're cluttered, they don't have enough of a visual that people are going to be drawn to.
Or the lighting, it's just
The
dark.
lighting,
And we're
yep.
talking about like the product bottles, the actual bottle image of the bottle that shows up on that product page.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll notice if you've done any research that some spas you can't really see the image super crisp. You want a super crisp image.
Yeah.
Maybe something happened in the file upload and it got compressed. Like that, those are really important things to investigate because images, like we know with social media, it gives us messages faster than what our brain can pick up in terms of reading. So
And
if images are grainy or they're dark or they just don't measure up to like a big beauty brand kind of
Mhm.
commerce pages, you are really doing yourself a disservice. It
Yeah.
is absolutely it's kneecapping your
It is.
e-commerce.
Because when you have that low quality, then that's going to be what people are perceiving it as, right? So,
And even with images, like low quality images, like not having enough kind of their own pro pics done of
yes.
maybe it's a flat lay of a certain a bundle of skincare bottles,
Mhm.
not just kind of like a picture of the bottle that's been all cropped out and it's a product pic, but pictures that you can use in your marketing that look pretty and look compelling.
And also ones that are humanized, right? So you can still have, a single product shot, but it's also good to have multiple images that, somebody's holding the product in their hand or they're applying it to their face, right?
So
Anything that.
I kind of want to give an example of where they can see this kind of thing, and I'd like to give them Lilac and Flint's website. We did their homepage and we did a lot of optimization on their products as well,
Mhm.
and so that way you can see what we're talking about in terms of image quality.
Yeah.
Some of them are stock photos, but a lot of them are her pro pics that
Yeah.
she paid a photographer to do, and they look beautiful.
They're beautiful. But, and she does regular photo shoots as
Yes.
well, right? Which is really important because you want to make sure that you've got, enough images and updated images as well. And then that goes into, social media. So you want to make sure that you have a specific focus on your e-commerce when you're posting to social media. So, focusing on your monthly features and directing it to your e-commerce store. Um, Even just sharing that, you now have, or maybe you've already had, but just sharing that, you can make purchases online, making that, customer experience even easier for them, right? And one of another super important, super important, I can't stress this enough, is social proof. Social proof can be anything from, reviews on site, before and afters on social media. But it's important to get those reviews from your customers who are already doing business with you, who already know, like, and trust you. And you can put those reviews. There's different apps that, again, there's a bit of tech to this as well. So there's plugins that you can get for your website that will link kind of an automation email to your reviews, and you can send off emails and they can directly review those products right on your site. So when other people are coming to purchase, they've already got, I don't know about you, but I look at, anytime I'm buying something online and I can't actually physically touch it, then I'm going to go and look and see what other people are saying about it. And, I take it with a grain of salt, because there's always going to be a couple that might not be a 5-star review, but look at all the reviews. And that will give you a better idea of what you can expect. One of the other pieces is pricing and value perception. So again, it goes back to your copy and your images. So you want to make sure that your images are of high quality, and you want to make sure that what you're writing about your products actually brings value to the client. So meaning, we're talking about what's in it for them. We're talking about how can this product help to solve their problems? We want to point out what it can help resolve, right? So we want to make sure that the perceived value is strong enough that the clients are going to look at it, be able to understand and know what it is that they're getting into, and they'll make that purchase.
And I think a big part of that, when you're writing copy for a product description, and what you were saying is focusing, not just focusing on the ingredients, like the what is in there,
Hmm.
but how it works, how
How
those
it works.
ingredients works. And if you want examples of this, like, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Go check out big skincare companies like Eminence, like,
Mhm.
Dermalogica, like they all have these aspects on their e-commerce platforms. So
And
you don't
you'll
need to reinvent the wheel,
oh,
but you do need to keep up with what Big Beauty is doing, because consumers get trained online about how to purchase. So you kind of need to play along with it.
yeah.
But go just check it out and see that there's usually 3 different tabs in
Mhm.
a product page. One of them is, key ingredients, one of them is how to use, and one of them is the benefits.
Benefits. And you'll also notice that each product has the same layout, right? So you're not going to get different, descriptions from, one product to the next. You're going to know exactly, I can go on this tab to get this, I can go on this tab to, learn this. Likely, if you have your review set up, there'll also be the review section right there, so people can see it. What else have we got on
Automated
our,
emails, automated
yes.
emails. This is the big piece that a lot of spa owners just don't even think about. Like, it doesn't even register on their, needs to happen. But it's having those automated emails. Are often set up in like Shopify's and WooCommerce, but you have to turn them on.
Mhm.
So abandoned cart emails, follow-up emails after a new client has purchased. I actually just ordered a new pair of glasses online this week, and I really appreciated their email sequence as a new consumer,
Mhm.
because at every step, so they gave me a purchase confirmation, and then they sent me another email that we've received your prescription, and we've looked at it, everything looks okay, and this is what's happening in the next few days. So I felt really good about spending a good chunk of money on things I hadn't even touched, my glasses, because their nurture sequence after I purchased,
You felt cared for,
I
right?
felt very cared for.
You
Like
felt
they were,
very
I'm not going to be kind of lost in the thousands of people that are ordering.
Mhm. Even though
So
it was automated,
yeah,
it
it
was
was
still
totally
very
automated.
personalized, right? Yeah.
It was just how it was written. It was written in a very more casual tone, and
Yeah.
but it hit all of those strategies
Mhm.
that a consumer needs and doesn't even know they need.
Yep.
And then we've got re-engagement emails. Those are if a consumer hasn't purchased in like 4 months, hey, we've missed you. Um, Review emails, automated review emails. I'm sure you guys all get these kinds of emails when you buy stuff online.
Mhm.
So it needs to be mimicked in your own e-commerce. There's a reason why everybody does these tactics for e-commerce because they work.
And they work. That's the thing. They work. So what else have we got? We've got paid
And then
ads.
the last
Oh,
thing
oh,
is to
sorry.
consider, yeah, consider paid ads. I think a lot of times spas are like, well, my clients know I have an e-commerce store, but nobody's really buying from it. Like, how do I break out of my like clientele list type of thing?
But do they know? That's the other question. Do they actually know? Because we can assume, and I think I've said this before, and this isn't about product specifically, but it's about service. And when I was in the trenches in the spa, I was the gel nail girl, right? I loved skincare, all things skin, but I did a great set of nails and I had clients back to back coming every 2 weeks for their fills. So everybody always saw me sitting at my desk doing nails, and nobody assumed that I did anything else but that, including my clients, because my one client ended up booking a sugaring hair removal treatment with one of my coworkers. And I was like, well, why'd she do that? Well, because she didn't know. And so I assumed that she did because I'm an esthetician, that she knew that I do all these things. They actually don't know. They have no idea
Yeah. So
unless you tell them.
yeah, for sure, make sure that if you have a team that that the team is talking about, hey, if you can't pop in to pick up your product, it's super easy to just go online and purchase. So having those in-spa conversations, we can't stress enough that that's a huge part of your marketing is
A
in-spa
huge part.
conversations.
Mhm.
But if you can't, even with that, if it's still you're finding it difficult to break out of kind of who you got already, you will need to look at investing in paid ads. And we know the bigger companies for sure, they invest a good chunk of money into paid ads because it generates leads and it generates sales. So we understand a lot of spa owners don't have the budget for paid ads.
Mhm.
Um, and it's not something we would recommend you just throw money at before doing all of the other things, all the
Yes.
other tactics for your e-commerce. So um, paid ads is usually the last thing that we are recommending you do. Got to clean up your system before you start throwing money and getting people to try to fill your funnel.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure.
So
Um,
go ahead, Delia.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
We have been referring to, Big Beauty does this, Big Beauty does that. You can compete with Big Beauty, because we don't want you to feel like just because you're like a solo spa business or you consider your team business to not be big enough. Um, you really, when you open up an e-commerce shop, you really are competing with Big Beauty. That's just the way it is. And I don't want you to think for a minute that you can't compete with Big Beauty because you 100% can. And I want to tell you why. But first, if you are getting stuck in thinking there's no way I can compete with Big Beauty, I invite you to maybe do a little digging into imposter syndrome. Okay, because that is another place that can really kneecap us and our success is just saying, oh,
Mhm.
I can't do that. Who am I to do that? I'm going to tell you, you are the person to do it. And here's why. And here's how Big Beauty can't compete with you.
Mhm.
Um, you can compete on one-on-one connection. A strictly online business or big beauty brand can't compete with one-on-one connection like you can. Even going into a Sephora and having, if somebody was helping, it's not the same as a highly skilled and knowledgeable esthetician or skin therapist, right? So when you are able to provide one-on-one connection, you're building real relationships. And Lord knows, one thing that we've learned during the pandemic is that we really need our connections. Now, I'm not
Mhm.
saying that they need to come to see you in person. We can still nurture those connections online via email, maybe quick calls, maybe skin coaching calls. But please remember that that is one of your superpowers, is that
Mhm.
one-on-one connection. The other superpower is your experience and your expertise. You provide customized skincare that actually yields results long term. So, it's very difficult for big beauty to compete with that.
Mhm.
Um, and that consumer now has a real person touch point through their skincare journey that you will be nurturing through your automated emails and your one-on-one emails that you connect with them. So, kind of to wrap things up, with your e-commerce, you've already done a lot of work in the setup, and we really wanted to shine a light on what maybe you just didn't know, and which is why you're not doing it. So once you've gone through the list, if you need to listen to this again to write down what our best practices list was, go ahead and do that. But go through that list and make sure you are doing all of those things. You need a whole ecosystem to ensure that your e-commerce is generating revenue. The same
Mhm.
with your in-clinic spa business. You now have to look at yourself as I have two businesses, two separate businesses. And each needs its own marketing ecosystem and client care system.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And
Go ahead.
one of the biggest things I was going to say for e-commerce, like it can be such a powerful tool when everything is all working synergistically together. You've got your whole ecosystem, because not only can you can expand your reach, you can generate more revenue beyond your physical location, and you're also providing your in-spa clients with more convenient ways to do business with you, right? So they can shop their favorite products online, they can still come in and see you for your services, but know that if they've run out of something, they don't have to run into the spa. They can just shop online and they'll get it shipped out to them. So that's really, I mean, e-commerce is a very powerful tool under the right kind of strategy. And so if you are struggling with your e-commerce and you really want to make a big impact on it, and you need to find out what's missing from your e-commerce revenue stream, if you haven't gone through our list of things that should be happening, then you can reach out to us and we will give you an audit to find out what's missing from your spa e-commerce. We would be happy to take a look at it and give you some feedback for where you can fill in some of those holes that might be missing.
Absolutely. I mean, we both know we've worked with a lot of spa owners. We've been spa owners before ourselves, so we understand that in spa entrepreneurship, there's so many pieces to look at, and this is not your area of expertise at
Yeah.
all. So let us get our eyeballs on it, and
Mhm.
in the audit, we'll give you a little list of recommendations. You're not in any way, committed to work with us. You can take that list and work on it on your own. We
Mhm.
just want to see spa owners feeling more confident about their e-commerce and also taking taking action that actually works to move them in the right direction. So
Yeah,
if you would like us to do an audit, hit us up with an email. You can actually send this one to Delia at kirstenfoss.com, Delia. Or you can DM us on any of our social networks. And yeah, we'd be happy to take a look. So
absolutely.
that is it. That's it for us for the Spa Business Mastery podcast, our marketing with Delia. And we
Thanks for
will,
joining me today, Kirsten.
yeah, you're welcome. And you'll see me in a few weeks to talk about a spa business or leadership topic. We'll see you then.
Awesome. Bye.